Hello, friends. This is Roy Rogers. I'm coming out of Glazer's mouth because he ate me. It is a very strange place to be in here. I am joined by, of course, as always, Gunny T, who was eaten by Nick the Greek Geek. Say hi, Nick.
Hi.
How you
I was trying to
doing?
think of something funny, but
You
I had nothing.
gave up
I had
and just said
nothing.
hi.
No, I gave up. I just said hi. Yeah.
I
I'm doing quite well, actually.
I learned something brand new about Nick today. Nick, in fact, has 2 dogs, despite the fact that Nick the Greek Geek has, in the year I've known him, mentioned one. You live, you learn that Nick plays favorites. That's how this world goes.
Don't tell Milo.
Today we are joined by 2 extra special guests. We are going to be talking about the August data mines, and the August data mines have the Heralds of Galactus. And one of the biggest Galactus fans I know is one of the biggest comics fans I know, is my favorite Marvel Snap podcaster. It's Joe of Snap Decisions. How you doing?
Great, man. Yeah, couldn't have been on a better episode, man. I love talking Galactus. I can't wait to see him on the big screen, and yeah, it's going to be an exciting next couple of months for sure.
And my dear friend, how could our friends find your podcast?
I am on all the audio platforms. I'm on YouTube again, finally. That took a hiatus for a little while, but going to be going back to having guests on. Glazer, of course, was my first last week. And that'll be every Monday. Audio Pod is out on Tuesday. And then if I have an OTA, that would be Thursdays usually. So I've cut down my schedule from like 4 to 3 a week. So yeah, and but yeah,
you slacker!
I know I'm slacking, man. But yeah, no, yeah, check it out. I go over the comic side of things, talk a little bit about the MCU, and of course Marvel Snap as well.
Sweet, please go check them out. In addition, the most famous Herald of Galactus is Silver Surfer. And if we're going to talk Silver Surfer, we need the most Surfer main of Surfer mains, the one trick of all Power Cosmic one tricks. It's Heart of the Cards Snap on Twitch. How you doing, Heart?
I'm doing good. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I dabble in Surfer just a tiny bit. You just a tiny bit. I'm actually taking a break right now, but yeah, I'm very excited for a second Surfer. Like, as far as like targeted cards go for me, like a second Surfer is about like as on the point as you can get.
Yeah, I have a lot of top players untapped profiles, and I just almost never check hearts anymore. I open them like, oh, look, it's Surfer. I never would have guessed. Like, look, it's another Surfer list. So, Heart of the Cards Snap on Twitch. Nick, you streamed for 3 days and then never again. But
I did.
It's gonna happen again.
It's going to happen after this podcast. I'm going live the second we are done here. I've got it all planned out.
I will raid you then. Nick,
thank you.
For the majority of people who are listening to this far after, Nick has now done his once a week duty, and we can check him out again next week.
I could still be live. I could just stay on nonstop
for like 4 days as you edit the podcast.
Exactly.
You're like, all right, I got it.
Exactly.
What is your name?
My name is Nick the Greek Geek with a DA, not the, because Twitch is limited on its names, and I didn't want to put numbers again. So I am there. I am erratic, but you'll either find me there in someone's stream or editing something for someone else. So I'm always involved in Snap. I think I do more on the back end of Snap now than I do play Snap, but that's okay. I hit Infinite already, so I'm happy with that.
Awesome. Yeah, he used a deck that right-wing trolls think makes him a bad person, which made me very, very amused. In the meantime, I am Snap Judgment's Pod over on YouTube. Which was really fun. I was in the Facebook group yesterday by accident. I opened Facebook to message Roy, and the Facebook group popped up, and someone was speaking in Vietnamese, and I was like, "What the fuck? That's so weird." Like, right? Given what's happening in my life, right? So I was like, and so they were talking, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm Snapchat's Pod." They're like, "No, you're not. Prove it." And I was like, "What? Like, what the fuck would I lie? Like, it's my real name. I don't have a fake Snap name. I'm not Nick the Greek Geek. I'm Glazer. Like, it's my name." What? So yeah, I have Snap Judgment's Pod on YouTube. I release a stupid amount of videos. I thought I was only going to release 7 this week, but it turns out I'm going to release 9 because, you know, such is life. My real name is Mr. Snap Judgment's Pod. In the meantime, my LLC ID says I'm SnapJudgeGlazer, dear friends. In addition, if you'd like to check out a stream, I'm streaming on twitch.tv/PulseGlazer. Usually, I'm aiming for 5 times a week, but it's more likely to be 4 times a week as life will be busy. We will get back to 5 times a week relatively soon. Stay tuned for a major announcement of a stream operation. I'm trying to put something really, really cool together right now for that. In addition, I have other socials, but I don't really care about them. Please do check me out on Twitch and YouTube and anywhere else. If you're interested in finding me, you can, but don't feel like you have to. All good?
All good.
Let's talk about the most boring card of the week that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about like 9 cards, and this is literally the least interesting one. It's also the only one we could literally play with right now. It is the Ancient one. Add a Dao Mandala to your hand. Dao Mandala is your character's copy the text of one of your ongoing cards here, which means basically that for 3 costs, you can get a lane full of 3 copies of one ongoing. And there's a million ways to get 2 of one ongoing. Frigga exists, Moonstone exists, Mystique exists, right? But now you can get a whole extra copy for the low cost of 6 energy. What do we think of this card, Joe?
Oh, I tried it, and I really wasn't that impressed with it. I mean, it's I don't know. I can't really say much about it. It's not even really. I thought it would be a fun card, and I kind of thought it would slot into Thanos, especially with the ongoing Thanos list still being kind of prevalent. But I don't know. It just doesn't. It just something seems off about it. I don't know whether it's just the timing of it, what it does, or what it copies. Like you were saying, I mean, the deck just seemed better without it. And when I was looking down the list of the cards and stuff this month, I'm like, yeah, this one kind of, came out as like, I don't know. This to me seems like it might be the worst of the month. And we definitely have some more exciting cards coming up. But yeah, great character. I mean, I love this character going all the way back to the 70s. But yeah, I was a little disappointed with it because the character is just amazingly powerful. And I thought it would have, a bit better text and stuff like that, but it just didn't really work for me. And I saw some other people playing on stream with it and stuff like that too, and it just didn't seem to hit the mark. So yeah, not really impressed with it. If I were strapped for resources and stuff, I certainly wouldn't be going out of my way to get it.
Mr. Cards.
I could only count to 3, so like 2 threes for the price of one isn't even that bad. But
it's not 2 threes, and you have to pay for it twice.
Yes, I know, but I will say I did not enjoy this card. I didn't even buy it, honestly. The problem with this card is it's really expensive. It's asking you to play a 3, to play another 3, but like if you want to play this 3, you have to play a bunch of cards on a location. So you're like paying, and then the reward is like you get an images of icon, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like this card, the Dao Mandala, could be 2. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement. I bought the card because I'm collection complete, so I'm staying collection complete. But it's not one that I played because I've watched enough people play it and go, well, maybe if they do something with it, then we'll talk. But it's too slow. It's too clunky. I get what they're going with. I do like the synergy. Like she's kind of doing the Wong thing, but why? Why would I do that? Why would I spend a total of 6 energy? Why? It just doesn't seem purposeful. It does not seem like a good spend of 6,000 tokens either. Well, 5,000 tokens if you have all the cards. So I think they need to tweak her. I think she should be, like Joe was saying, she has a strong and very storied comic history. I think they can make her at least a little stronger. I don't think that's too much to ask for.
Yeah, I think if she's a 3/5 that creates a 2-cost thingy, that's fine. Generating cards that cost more than 2 is kind of a problem for everything, right? We don't really play any cards in Marvel Snap that are generated more than 2, except for Agamotto cards. Those are like +4 energy, right? Like, or turn everything into your best card.
The way I see it is it has to play for like 2 to 3 energy above what. So like if Dao Mandala was the equivalent to like a 6-cost effect, then it would be good. But like it's the equivalent to like a 4-cost effect just by looking at Agamotto's like images of icon.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. This is a kind of I like this character a lot. I thought I was really wanted this to be good, but Safety Blade is the only person in all of Marvel Snap who I've heard say a positive word about it. Ika's got thus far the best deck with it, and like sometimes a thing people like to say is it's the 12th card. It's the 12th card. I think it's the 14th card. Like you should probably just run something else most of the time.
Yeah, I would agree. Like I said, it's a shame because when I was thinking about it and reading it all the way back that I did, he was one of the most powerful characters in comics. And then to see it come out and then fall kind of flat, like everyone said, it was disappointing. And so, I hope it's something that they look at down the road and revisit it and just see. I'm not sure what they can do to make it that much better, but like you said, maybe if they make that the Dawa 2, at least it would be a little bit better at that point.
Joe, if you could quickly turn your volume up just a little bit. Chad is saying they're having a little trouble hearing you.
Sure.
As far as this card goes, I feel like we've beaten this ancient horse to death. We are all in agreement that this is not a card to really mess with. I love this character in the comics and the MCU, and it sucks to suck. Chat would like to know if Hellion is good, and I feel like we can quickly say this. It's really impossible to know because Mercury is in every goddamn deck right now. So I think it will be good. I think if Mercury is not one of the most popular cards in Marvel Snap. Sizer has stopped playing Move because Mercury is just so freaking prominent.
I'm leaning towards Hellion is just underexplored because Mercury is overplayed.
Yep, agreed. All right. Galactus. First, before we go any further, most of these cards don't have data mined images. So I messaged Rez Snapper, the great Rez Snapper, over on YouTube, who does some great new card content. And Rez Snapper was kind enough. I was like, can I give you money? And Rez was like, shut up. And I was like, all right, Rez, you're the boss. And so Rez gave me all the images of these cards. So we've got Rez Snapper to thank for having some pretty images. Otherwise, you would just be looking at if you're live, look at our ugly faces. And if not, looking at a fairly blank slide. So August Season Pass is Galactus First Steps. And I'm actually going to let Joe read this because it feels wrong to read this while Joe is here.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, we're getting a new Galactus. It makes me so happy. Yes, August Season Pass, Galactus First Steps. Series 5, 6,000 tokens, 6 cost, 10 power. And I've got to do this in my bet. No, wait. My Herald is the next character I see you play, and I marked out when I read this because Galactus is speaking to us via the card. End of turn, +3 power. If you're winning my Herald's location, he can grow very, very big. But there is a kicker where you're going to have to get him out a little earlier than playing him on turn 6, obviously. Or no, I'm sorry. If in hand, never mind. Yeah, never mind. I'm super excited, man. This is really cool. It's the first card that we've got that's speaking to the player in first person, which is awesome. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Anytime I get to see a cool Galactus that gets played, I'm all in. So I'm sure. When I get this card on day 1, I will have a Galactus. Now you can have a 2 Galactus deck if you so desire. But I'm fired up, man. I can't wait to see Fantastic Four and see him up on the big screen. And now this is coming in this set too. So I am very, very fired up for this.
I really like this card. To me, it screams like, those old Iron Patriot decks that basically are like, I'm going to win this lane for 3 turns in a row. Yep. What are you going to do about it? I picture Galactus being in those type of lists, and it's like, we know that like big/idiot is just a good thing to be in this card game most of the time. And like, if you're drawing him early, it's probably like 6/16, 6/19 if you're playing a tempo deck. And like playing a 6/19, we know with Gore, with all these big idiots, it's like they just win a lane and then like you can win another lane in the tempo deck most likely. So he seems pretty good in like these tempo style lists that just want a big finisher.
Yep.
I think it's a very interesting card. It's the first time, like Joe was saying, that we've had a card talking directly to us, I think. I wish I don't know. Part of me wishes he could still be in deck like the OG Red Hulk, or not Red Hulk, but just the Hulk. Actually, no, Red Hulk did in deck as well, didn't he? Or was he just in hand? Anyway,
he was originally in deck or in hand,
right?
And that was like immediately a problem.
Yeah.
Oh no, maybe that was just original Hulk. Maybe that was just original Hulk.
Yeah, I think it was just original High Evo Hulk. I don't remember if Red Hulk did. I think he had to be in hand because they had learned their lessons from the original Hulk. But yeah, it's an interesting card. It's different flavor text. It's going to change how you play. Yes, it can be played in a Big Dumb Idiots deck, but it can be played, I think, in a lot of other decks. Like this could be a great finisher for a Galactus play. You know, you've got a lot of big guys and he's pulling that +3 power every time. I'm intrigued to see his animation. I think it's going to be fun.
I don't think we're going to want to play him. I think he's an 06 to an 09 if you can draw him. Like, just, you have to win the lane you play that character, and you play things like Gladiator and shit that are just big, right? Like, keyword big cards. And then you're just like, if I need to play him, all right, I'll play a 6/10. There's nothing wrong with playing a 6/10, but I don't especially want to play a 6/10 most of the time, right? That's not an amazing rate, but I can get 9 power for 0 out of this card if I can win that lane. If I play that card early and I can win that lane, that seems crazy strong to me. Like, I don't have to do a ton of extra work for that, and it doesn't super matter what I draw as long as I build my deck to run all these sort of big tempo cards. Like in an Idiot's list, I'm not sad to have an extra 10, right? But also just like, cool. Oh, look, it's Surtur. I'll play that for 10. Oh, no, it's whatever it's called. I lost the name. Oh, Typhoid Mary, is because I kept doing the wrong letter. But like, I'll just drop a Typhoid Mary on turn 4. That was the card that I drew after I drew Galactus, right? All right, cool. That's a 16 power Typhoid Mary. Thanks.
I don't know if I read this wrong. I assumed it was going to him.
No.
Oh,
it goes to the card on play.
Oh, maybe it could be.
Because I assume it goes to him.
That's what I thought, too.
No, it goes to the Herald. I'm pretty sure it goes... Oh, I don't know. Maybe it goes to him. I thought it went to his Herald. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I think it goes
I assumed it was like a Red Hulk, basically, but the condition's different.
Mm-hmm.
We all think it goes to him except me? Okay. All right, then maybe I'm reading it wrong. End of turn, +3 power if you're winning my...
Yeah.
So because end of turn effects don't really happen in... I guess they could happen in hand. Okay. Oh, because it's his end of turn effect. Okay.
Yeah.
So you do have to play him, and you're playing a 6/19.
Well, end of turn do happen in hand with cards in end of turn. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're right. Because Red Hulk is an end of turn. Okay. Huh. I mean, all right. Then I don't think this is good anymore. Sorry.
I mean, like
it's fine in some decks, right?
Oh.
But it's Red Hulk at that point. It's just another Red Hulk. It can be bigger, right? Like if you I don't know, hit what's a stupid card this could draw? What's a card you could play on like turn 1 that you would run in this type of deck? A Bob. You hit a Bob, right? You're gonna win that Bob. You're gonna win that Bob lane the first 2 turns, and now you've got a 6/16 in hand, and then you just have to play a lot of turn. Yeah, you have to play a lot of tempo stuff. You got a 6/19. Like if you can get it every turn, this could be the biggest thing. That's going to be hard to use and really variable, but that's cool. Yeah. I wonder if he does the Red Hulk where he tells the opponent then. Oh, of course he does, because it'll be the Herald, right? He'll know it's the Herald.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Herald won't happen until he's drawn.
Correct.
Oh, it's the next character I see you play, so it doesn't matter if it's drawn, right? As soon as you have him, any card you play is the Herald?
Yep.
No, it's the first one.
Yeah, the next card. All right, this is probably decent. I don't think it's great, but it's probably decent.
I think it'll be niche, but it'll definitely be probably best in slot in tempo lists that are running Red Hulk or Gore.
I can see it being really good in a junk or a clog list. Where I just want something big, it does the Gore spot in those.
You'd almost have to, because otherwise he.
I mean, my Herald is the fucking Green Goblin. Eat it. You want to go try and win that Green Goblin location and clog yourself? Have fun, sucker.
I will say this, the lore on this text is also really fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Nick said, I can't wait to see what the effect's going to be like as to him. Is it going to be him getting bigger? Yeah, it just seems like it's going to be cool to see it play out. I mean, he's a Shang target too. It's so you get psyched up and you get, I'm going to get a 619 out. They anticipate where you're playing and they just destroy it. So yeah, he should be immune to Shang-Chi. That'd be a cool little extra side power that he could get.
I don't think we want 20 plus power cards that are immune to Shang-Chi.
No, that would be bad for the game. Although I would like it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is going to be really good. Let's continue on to our next card, which is going to be the spotlight card that comes out with Galactus. It is Stardust. I've read exactly one comic with Stardust. Stardust is in Annihilation, the original Annihilation. I have no idea where else Stardust was from. I'd assume some old Surfer comics. Stardust is a 4/7 Series 5 card. Ongoing. Cards can't be added to locations by playing or moving them. Let's kick it off with Heart this time.
What immediately comes to mind with Stardust is like, this is Denish's like worst enemy.
Yep. I was like, fuck you, Denish. You sucks to suck.
You can't Jubilee, you can't Blink, you can't Hela. It's like half his deck doesn't work. I think he'll be niche, but if you really hate Hela, you like run this, and like every Hela player you go against literally cannot play the game physically. Like their cards just can't go on the board. Other than that, she has like some interesting use cases. Like she stops a Brood, she stops basically all tokens, but she is kind of expensive. Maybe she goes in like those like Zabu lists as like your third 4. That's
it affects
my
both sides.
opinion. Yeah, I could also stop like a Sentry if you're playing proactively.
Could stop the Void, right? Yeah.
All right, Joe?
Yeah, it's an interesting card. Because I was trying to think when I first read it, like, what is it going to work with? The Void came to mind right away, so you can play a Sentry without getting a penalty. But other than that, yeah, I didn't realize when Hart mentioned like the other things that it stops. It seems it's funny because when you look at it now, it seems more like a tech card to me a little bit. Where you can stop people from doing things that they want to do with tokens and things like that. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, if it were, it looks like it's properly costed and everything like that too. If it were like a 3, the card could be broken in a way. But yeah, I don't know. This card has potential, I think, and probably a little bit more than I gave to it when I first read it. But yeah, it's interesting ability and something different that we haven't seen before, really.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the scenarios in which you'd go, yes, I'm going to put Stardust in my deck. Obviously, if a Helameta came back or there was a heavy push for things like tokens with Brood, or if C2 for some reason still stays as prevalent as it is right now, this can cause some real chaos. But I guess there's a part of me that I don't know. Like a lot of people aren't playing other than the say Brood, and I don't know if she is strong enough to say, okay, I'm going to take another card out of my deck to put her in for that. But in those situations where you are seeing that kind of gameplay, sure, great. So wait, she would also stop Gladiator too, if she could be played prior to Gladiator. Interesting. Yeah.
Or stop your opponent's Gladiator.
Well, stop your Gladiator from like taking their card, and if it's 10, it's not even on the board.
Stops the debris.
Goblins
won't let like if you get an early enough way to play it, it won't let Monster Island happen. Like Monster Island will just
Legion
reveal
Monster Island, or you can't Legion the Central Park.
Yeah,
glorious. So, yeah, she's got some interesting use cases, but yeah, I think she's still yet to be defined. Sorry, Claire, go ahead.
I'm not going to see a ton of play. Like, it's just it's a meta call. There are metas where this is going to be in a lot of decks, but I think its existence will prevent those metas from getting out of hand. Like, this is an important card to exist in the game. This should have existed before. Safety says she's broken. I tend not to agree. Because, like, she doesn't do anything to decks like Thanos and General Good Stuff thing, right?
To
So,
me,
like,
she reads as like the 12th card, and you're really like playing the style of list that would like use her somewhat proactively when the meta calls for it, but she's still
Yeah.
like coming at the back end.
yeah. Ika and Safety say this card is broken. So maybe they'll tell us why. But for now, I think it's just a... and then Fudge trolls them. So yeah, I think this card is fine. I think it's a good card. I just don't think it's a broken card. Like, it's gonna be a good card. Is it gonna be an amazing card like that? I think has to go in every deck. No, but I think it's going to have some homes. So I'm happy for any deck that has its homes.
Speaking of Sentry, there's like a million ways to get rid of Sentry already, so I don't know if this is it.
Yeah.
We have Merlin, we have Cersei, we have Annihilus, we have Dormammu who can help get rid of the Sentry Void. There's like a million cards. So I don't think Sentry needs like... He's not dying for like a specific... We literally have one cost that get rid of him.
Sentry's not dying for me to play a 4 so I can play another. Like, you know what I mean? Sentry doesn't want me to be playing other 4s especially well. I don't know. I don't care about this card. Like, that, if it didn't affect both sides, maybe, but that it affects me too. Although there's some defense in it protecting both sides.
I think it's a medical.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it would be interesting if the Annihilus meta comes back. This does put a stop to that.
Yeah. Like, yeah. It basically says that Danish has to find a new deck, right? Like, like the existence of this means Danish, if this is played, Danish can't for at least a week.
I don't think that's the case with a future card, but anyways, I digress.
Fair. I don't know. It's an ongoing too. I don't know. Maybe I'm just low on it. That's fair.
Oh,
all right.
Boy.
This card, just for the record, it says limited time event card, and it's what its data mine does, but we're pretty sure that this is going to be you get a card for the season pass and a card for the premium season pass going forward. This will be the one you get from the premium season pass. I'm not reading it though. Heart of the Cards is. What? Oh, sorry. What?
Before we do that, I think they confirmed it was going to be Fantastic Car, unless that was misinformation.
That was the month before, my
July
friend.
season.
Oh, right. Duh. Yeah. Sorry. My apologies.
Fantastic Car, spoiler alert, is for the Fantastic Four season, while Silver Surfer is for the Heralds of Galactus season. Right. Mr. of the Card Snap.
Pardon me for this long name. The Silver Surfer Fantastic Four First Steps. 3/4. End of turn, if you're winning this location with an on-reveal card, copy its text. Okay, my opinion on this is basically, I view it like Absorbing Man. Like Absorbing Man that costs 3 and gets buffed by Surfer. You're probably just playing this and like shove it in a Carter lane. It's like, the Carter lane's so big, you're gonna win it regardless. You can put a Surfer behind that, and then you just double buff your other lane, and he's like 2 Surfers. It's almost like you're playing 2 cards that say Silver Surfer on it. You could also figure out like some offlines with this. You could put like Surfer on top, and then put Gwenpool on top of it, and now you have like 6 Gwenpool procs right away, which is pretty good if you're playing like a hand buff style list, which Surfer is inherently a hand buff style list. Because you have Brood, you have Human Torch, you have...
Drop it on
Carter.
a Surge.
Yeah. There's a bunch of like small little things like that. Yeah, drop it on a Surge. You get it right away. I think it'll be good.
Joe?
Boy, I kind of wish that artwork was the actual artwork for the card. That's really, really cool.
Props to Rez.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see all the Surfer decks playing with 2 Surfers in their deck. It's that's going to be a party. But yeah, look, it's it seems like it's a pretty decent card. Another 3 card, 3 cost 4 power. Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to get it to go. Like Hart was mentioning, and he would know better, as I don't play much Surfer. But yeah, I don't know. It looks like a good card, and I'm sure it'll fit very easily into the Surfer decks. They're pretty static though, so I think the question is about a lot of those decks is what do you take out to put it in there? But I mean, Makari maybe, or one of those other cards that they've had in there. But yeah, it's fun. Now, all I'm thinking is Now you can play with a deck of 2 Mr. Fantastics, 2 Human Torches, 2 Things, 2 Invisible Womans, and 2 Silver Surfers.
Those are not on. None of those are on reveals, my friend.
No, right. But I just saying overall.
Yeah. Oh, you mean just like
just
like
overall.
Literally,
just all doubles. Yeah. But no, it's it seems like it's going to be a pretty good card. And the question is though, and I know this has created some controversy, is it going to be enough to get people to spend that extra money for that extra card? And I heard Lauren talking about that on their podcast. And that's going to be a big question. If that's what they're going to choose to do going forward, they better be enticing to get people to spend that kind of money every single month rather than just get the basic season pass. So these cards better be pretty good for that extra money. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
I have other than the buff with Surfer, it seems, I don't know. It seems like he's very easily countered. It seems like Absorbing Man in a different lane, safe from something like a Cosmo or anything else, although a bit more expensive, might be an easier option. But I do like the copying of the text for something like Surge. I do see the benefit of that, and you don't get that benefit with Absorbing Man. Wait, how does it work with Absorbing Man? Does Absorbing Man work with Surge?
Yes. No?
It worked
Really?
one time, I think.
Yeah, one time. Yes.
I think this literally just copies it like text period, so it's both text.
Yeah. So that makes sense. But yeah, there's other cards out there that might be easier to do, but if it's the kind of thing that they're tossing in to make the premium season pass more appealing for people, sure, that's fine. If it's not a crazy good card, I think that's totally okay. If you want to pick it up in a month without paying, you can do that, because I think that's it. They're locking it behind a 30-day paywall, and then it's free to you. Free to be in the shop.
Yeah, it's 3,000 tokens.
Yeah.
So. I think this is going to be really good with Surge. I don't know what else I really want to use it with. Because once it copies it once, it's done, right? It loses its end of it's copied that on reveals text and it's done. Because once it that copy text, as people somehow got wrong with Ancient One, despite it being the case for every copy in the history of Marvel Snap, means it overwrites the original text, right? Like Mystique no longer copies the next ongoing, and so on and so forth. It will copy that card's full text, but it has now copied that card's full text, and it is done. So, like, you get one extra trigger on it.
I will say, people are thinking about this card wrong. You need to think about it like an activate, and you have to think about it fast. You don't want to play cards like Sage, because Sage isn't fast enough. And, like, Sage is a lane-winning card, so you don't want, like, to copy a lane-winning card with another lane-winning card. But something like Surfer doesn't win a lane, it wins 2 lanes. Something like Gwenpool applies it to your hand, so you can win 2 lanes. Same with Surge, it applies it to your deck, so you can win 2 lanes. You need faster cards. And since you could do the 2 to 3, and it's like, you just need to win that lane 1 turn. It's not like you need to win it the entire game.
Yeah, that's what's really powerful here, I think. You need to win a lane once. You don't have to keep winning the lane all game. So if you can play this on something big, right? If you can play this on something big, you're going to get that on reveal, and then you just have it, and it's done. So that's why I like it with Surge, right? Like, if you go, like, whatever into Surge into this, now you've just got double Surge. Unless they have Cosmo or Red Guardian, that's just going to be a thing. You get -2 and +2 to all your cards. Gwenpool makes a lot of sense. I'm struggling to think of what else. I don't hate the Sage play, because let's say you play this reasonably early and you're not winning the lane, Sage is not going to guarantee you a lane win at that point, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, so, you know, it was going to all but guarantee you a lane win, though? Sage and then Sage again.
Yeah, but
you have to be winning at that point.
You have to get it on turn 5, which opens you up to a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and then you have to be winning after the first Sage, where it's not copying shit.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter if it's turn 6 and you're already winning it, and then you Sage, and it's like, wow, I did nothing.
I'm trying to think of anything but Surge or Gwenpool where I really want this. I'm kind of struggling.
Cassandra Nova?
I think...
Oh, Cassandra? Yeah. I'll take an extra
Cassandra's interesting, and I think obviously Surfer's interesting, because Surfer a lot of the time is winning his lane he's in, and then having 2 Surfers helps you win the other lane, because you have more 3s everywhere else.
You can Wiccan, notes the fudge.
Yeah.
You can Wiccan too, yeah.
Yeah, Wiccan's reasonably good at winning lanes. You don't want an extra anti-venom immediately, right? That doesn't do shit.
Mm-mm.
Not the worst thing in the world is an extra Luffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this is I don't think this is great. I'm going to be honest, despite safety going crazy about it, and safety is usually right about cards. But I don't think this is super great, but I think this is very good. I think this is very good in very hyper-specific decks. It's like it 100% goes in Surfer, right? You run Surge and Gwenpool and Surfer, and you're just like perfectly fucking happy to like be like, I have 2 Surfers, and this one is just really strong. And then like you, like
and you do have cards that just win lanes by themselves, like Carter. He just needs bodies there, and he can be a body and do something else.
True. I'm trying to figure out what other on reveals I really want that like would be in a Surfer deck, right? Because like the Wiccan deck, so I've got Surge and Gwenpool, I've got Surge and Wiccan.
I think you'll need 3.
Yeah, I think you might. I think you're going to need 3, but I got to figure out what that third is, right?
Gwenpool, Surge, Surfer. That's 3.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not convinced you're going to be winning the Surfer lane all that often.
Put in the Carter lane.
That's fair. You put it in the Carter lane, things get easier. In the Carter lane, things get easier.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see it. Yeah. Carter, Surfer as a last turn play. Seems pretty fucking strong. Okay. All right. So yeah, it goes in Surfer for sure. And then if we can figure out if it goes in a Wiccan list, right? Maybe like a Wiccan deck that also runs Gwenpool, which isn't
also
common, but is doable.
This dodge Shang-Chi and Shadow King because it will go after them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the caveat of that is that you have to be winning that location, which...
Yes.
Yeah. Which after the Shadow King hit the first time is not guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
No.
If it's on that location, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Again, I think this is very good. I think it's a little trickier to build around than people are thinking.
Seems to me like a Prodigy card.
Yeah.
Like style.
Yeah. Agreed. Probably better than Prodigy, right? Because Prodigy's a little harder to like position all in one turn, and this is a little easier. Double the Surfer. Surfer squared is clearly deck 1, though, right? SSSSS. All right. Frankie Ray is an 8/12. I have no idea who Frankie Ray is. I've never read a single Frankie Ray comic. I'm aware that it's a Herald of Galactus, though, because I'm capable
of putting
things together.
She was in Nova, yeah?
From what I heard.
That sounds right.
From what I heard, she's Human Torch's girlfriend, and that's all I know.
Human Torch has 7,000.
I was just going to say, that...
Well, it is the one that went on fire, so...
the one that
pretty important.
Got his powers from Galactus. All right, so Frankie Ray is the next Spotlight card, comes out 8/12. Series 5, that means 3/4. After the next time you play a 6-cost card, double this card's power. Joe?
Well, I mean, gonna fit in Big Dumb Idiots decks. The stat line is she just kind of sits out there. It's almost kind of like having a second Surtur, I would think, in a way. Yeah, she's gonna get to what, a 3/8. Could get to I mean, if you
big dumb idiots decks, my friend, don't run 6-cost cards.
No, that's true. Yeah, they don't. Yeah,
Scar is now a 7.
Yeah, Scar.
And I'm pretty sure this is only a one-time double, by the way.
I was just gonna say that. Is it one time or more? Yeah, if it's one, she's gonna get
it once.
Yeah, then she's gonna get to a 3/8 tops. Yeah, probably not great. I mean, even if you ramp out a 6-cost card on turn 5 and then play another one in turn 6, does she go with the new Galactus? But even if she does, again, it's not going to be that big of a card.
3/8.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of looks more like a Series 4 card than a Series 5 card when you look at it that way. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably not that great. I don't know. Maybe they'll pump her up. Maybe they'll make her a 3/5. But even then, then she'd go to a 3/10. Be a little better in that case. But yeah, I don't know. This one's not super interesting. Get out the 6 cards. The only way, and not ramp decks don't see much play anymore. So Yeah, I don't know. Not it doesn't come off looking really that good to me right off the top. Is it worth the 3.8 to just play 6 cost cards? I don't know. Doesn't look that great to me.
Well, it says 3, but but I think this I think this just naturally goes into like Sasquatch Mockingbird decks, and you're like, it's like the most 12th card ever, but like it's gonna be better than whatever other 3/8 you're playing. Cough Gladiator. And it's like you're playing decks, 1/6 drop in those decks.
Those decks run Galactus or Gwenpool, right?
Yeah,
like
she might be a bit bigger.
One hit and this is a real card.
Yeah, she's like a 3/6, but even at a 3/8, she's like a real card if you're always playing it.
Yeah.
If you're always
I think that's what
6.
it comes down. Oh, sorry, Hart.
No, it's fine. Go.
Go ahead.
One of you talk, please.
I'm talking now. So I don't know, at a 3/4, I think if you can, buff her up with something and then, throw that First Steps Galactus down, I think there could be something there.
Doxy.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Ooh.
Finally a use for Doxy. But outside of that, I think it's fairly limited because most decks that are running 3 costs don't generally have a bunch of 6 costs in them. So you have to at least play a single 6 cost, let alone, multiple 6 costs if you really want to make this go up.
No, you can't.
I don't know.
It says you can't.
Yes.
It's not going to double.
Well, that's fair. Okay, so if that's the case, then you need to buff her and then double her that way. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some interesting stuff. Valentina is a very interesting point because then you can get yourself a cheap 6 cost, but you kind of want this to hit at the end of the game as well. Because the nice thing is even if your 6 cost gets Goliath, it doesn't matter. You still played a 6 cost card. If it gets Negasonic, you still played a 6 cost card. I think there is some potential there. Maybe a little bit of Shaw and hand buff. There's something there, but then again, you got to fit that 6 cost.
Yeah, hand buffs don't want 6s. Hand buffs don't want 6s at least yet.
Yeah.
Maybe hand buff deck wants Galactus now, right? But no, you have to play the buffed cards. You still need a turn to play the buffed cards. Is the problem with that? I don't know. It's fine. You play it in decks where you're guaranteed to play a 6, right? Like in a Thanos deck, there's a million good cards, right? That's the problem with Thanos. But like a Thanos deck, maybe that Thanos Scar deck, right? Like you run this, and then anytime you get an extra buff on this, because you always have the cheap Thanos, you're just like, cool. I got an extra 10. Awesome, done. Like you don't have to do anything super fancy here. If there's an easy way, like if we can figure out how to get Forge into an Idiots deck, for example, or some other early buff like an America Chavez into an Idiots deck, which it used to be once upon a time, that kind of thing. Any hit on Frankie Ray is just a slightly cheaper Scar. We know how strong it is to play a 3/10, right? But then you need the right 6s, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. I don't know. This is a fine card. Thanos plays 6s, Sasquatch Mockingbird plays 6s and runs some hand buff. So it's worth experimenting with in there. Is it going to be great? No. This is probably the least exciting card of the month, I think. Like, of everything we're going to talk about, this is the one where I'm most like, I guess this is fine. It's just, now watch it be broken.
Yeah. I mean, she works with like a She-Hulk as well.
Yeah. But so if she doubled and redoubled, Moon Girl She-Hulk would be like, yes.
Yeah.
Right?
She doubled and redoubled. I think she'd be like amazingly good.
Yeah, she'd be broken. But like, as a one-time deal, I don't know if I give a shit. I think she's perfectly fine as a 3/5.
Yeah. Yeah. Go to a 3/10. Yeah.
I think she should play even in this state though, and like one deck.
Yep.
She was a Nova, by the way. I looked it up. A Nova from another universe, and she was created by John Byrne.
Cool.
Yeah.
John Byrne sucks as a person. Good comics. All right. The Fallen One. I don't know what to do with this card, but this card is at least cool. Is a 5/5, coming out 8/19. On reveal, set your max energy equal to this card's power. Hart?
Oh, this is like a Hero for Surfer. That's what I read it as. Hero for Surfer. You have Mr. Fantastic giving you a bunch of buffs. You might have Gwenpool giving you a bunch of buffs. You have Galactus giving you a bunch of buffs, and you just drop this guy out like a 5'8", 5'10", and you're like, oh, I have 11 energy last turn. I think I can do something with that. Where it's like, and it doesn't get countered by like Mobius. So it's like, if you're running enough buffs, this card is a Shero adjacent thing that doesn't die to Mobius. In basically my opinion. Is that good? Is that bad? Hell if I know. It's a weird ass card.
Joe?
Yeah, it is a strange card. I'm wondering if that. Yeah, I agree. I mean, what you can certainly buff him, and just get a turn that you're going to have a ton of energy to play. When I first looked at it, I thought the 5/5 was underwhelming, but I mean, you can't go crazy with it and make it even more powerful than that. But yeah, I mean, last turn card, I would think for sure. To get you all that extra energy on the last turn, we could just play out a whole bunch of stuff. What it goes in, other than a buff deck, I don't really know. But look, like he just said, energy is great. I mean, you can, if you get more and you could play a whole bunch of stuff on one turn, it's always going to be pretty good. So, interesting. When I first eyed it and saw the stat line, I was kind of underwhelmed, but yeah, I mean, it certainly has the on reveal is certainly pretty good.
So, Nick?
Yeah, I'm intrigued by the 5 cost, 5 power. There's people in chat that are talking about, Shuri and things of that sort. Especially if you can ramp him out and you have that extra energy, that's crazy huge. The amount of stuff that you could play on the final turn is bananas. Toxie again. I mean, actually, yes. Yeah, getting that extra energy, being able to not have to worry about, do I get Mobius? Do I get my Sarah down? An extra 5 power on turn 6, even if you're not ramping or extending it out and not buffing it at all, is crazy. I think having that and ramp is even crazier, for you to be able to throw all of that down without, having to worry about, the old style Sandman. You can only play 1 card decks. I think there's something to it. So it doesn't, but it says set your max energy to equal to this card's. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yes.
So no one knows what you're talking about, Nick. We are.
Yes. Yes.
You have to read what chat says. Otherwise, people will be very confused.
I
was going to clarify that.
I assume the way this works is like, if you play this raw, it sets your energy to 5, and then your max energy gets +1 naturally, so it's just to 6. So playing it raw is just.
I don't think so. No, your max energy is set.
Like, you have the +1 max energy. I think the set just means.
I don't think so. I would bet almost anything. Maybe. This is just.
It is notably worse if it's not that.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think you just run a deck that runs the key 4s, right? You run Galactus. I don't think this cares about Gwenpool, but you probably run Gwenpool just because having 7 energy on turn 6 isn't great. Right? Because he's not going to give you 8 from 1 Gwenpool buff. That's how I'm pretty sure it's 5. You know what I mean? 1 Gwenpool buff will give you 7. But like you're finding this Galacta because I would like 8 energy last turn. I'm pretty freaking happy to hit this with Symbiote Spider-Man because that's a 12 max energy. Because Symbiote Spider-Man re-triggers the on reveal, so it sets to 5 and then it should reset to 12, which is absurd, right? Like. 12 energy on the last turn is absurd. Shuri for 10 energy last turn seems wild. This seems, now that we've talked about it, like, this seems completely fucking insane. This might be the best card this might be the best card in the world, right? Like, this might be the best card in the game. Like, if it's as consistent as it looks, because, like, it's really hard to counter Galactus into this. So, like, like you can, and then that deck probably runs Black Panther, right? Because if you have this, like if you have 12 energy, suddenly you can Black Panther Zola in 1 turn. You can just do like silly shit. You can play White Tiger and Odin in one turn.
Could you make a greedy and grandmaster it after you symbiote Spider-Man it, and there you go.
Yeah, I mean, in 7 turns, yeah. Yeah. This feels like it's probably too good. Like, just way better Sarah if you build the right deck. And, like, we'll have it to play... Mr. Fantastic just randomly hits this, right? But, like, you play this with Surge, Mr. Fantastic, and, like, Zabu for all the ramp buff cards, and you're perfectly happy.
I think it's basically Sarah asking you to do a bit more. But for a bigger reward.
Yeah, like I think the reward is significantly bigger. Like, Mobius is in a lot of decks. All right. Well, fuck this card, I guess. Next up, my birthday card is Cosmic Ghost Rider. My birthday is August 26th, and so is Cosmic Ghost Rider. I should probably read that comic at that point. This is a 5/7 unreveal. Remove the text from front row enemy cards here. Joe?
First off, this comic book is amazing. It's one of my favorites that I've read in a long time. That is Frank Castle, which is very, very cool.
But Frank Castle fucking sucks. One of the top 10 worst Marvel characters that are popular. It's like Eddie Brock, Frank Castle, yeah. Cletus Cassidy, all the 90s popular ones that are just like...
He's when I saw this and I saw what he does, remove the text. I mean, that's pretty darn good. And the stat line's not bad. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is it obviously kills Captain Carter, for sure. But I don't know. The ones where you have to kind of situate. Obviously, they take some more strategy to use. And you get that front row, back row thing going on. He's an ongoing killer, depending on what they're using in that front row. But I don't know. I think when I was watching Rez's video, he gave this like a 7-star rating. Went above his normal 5 or 6 that he went above. But yeah, I don't know. I think this card could be really sneaky good. Depending on what your opponent's playing. But taking away the text from front row cards is, to me, I don't know, it's pretty good. Obviously if people are using on reveals and they're not playing ongoings, it may not have as much impact, but he seems like he's going to be pretty good, I think. And I'm looking forward to playing it. I love the character. And the books are just a really, really fun read. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it works out. But yeah, I like it. I think he's going to be a pretty good card.
I have 2 opinions on this. First of all, I think in most decks it's just too expensive. Like a 5/7 that might remove a card, but a lot of the cards in this game is they're getting their value at some point earlier than this, unless you're hitting specifically ongoing. Yeah, you hit an Elsa on turn 5, Elsa already got most of her value. You're not getting that much crazy value from this 5/7. A bunch of cards are like that. However, I think you play this in a Hella list as your third 5, and now you're just depressed because it's turn 4 and all the work you did on the first 2 turns are just deleted. I feel it'll be really strong in these ramp style lists. If you get this out early, it's why am I even playing this game? I have no cards, abilities that I just spent literally half the game doing. So that's my opinion on it.
I think he's expensive, but then so is Legion. But Legion's, I think, ability is a little bit more controllable and a little bit more manageable. I do like the removing the text from the front row and enemy cards here. It does, like chat was saying. See, I mentioned chat this time. Like chat was saying, I think there is some benefit to that. But with it being kind of like a mini Goliath, but that's the thing is he's not. If there are not those good cards in the front that they're going to want to run on turn 6 or that are going to make a huge difference turn 6, again, unless you're ramping out, he is expensive. He does do some good, But yeah, unless you're doing crazy stuff like, him and then absorbing man, and then where are you getting your power from? Where are you going to put down that power when that's your play? But outside of that, I don't know. It's a good card. It's giving me one of those months to where I'm not looking at these cards going, yes, I can't wait for this to come out. It's going to be crazy strong. It's just different and interesting. So, maybe there is some benefit to having just something different and interesting.
This is another meta call. Like, what's the name of the previous card that was a meta call? The 4/7?
Stardust?
Stardust, yeah. This is another meta call, right? Like, if the meta is heavy on reveals and good stuff decks, this isn't doing a ton to those. Like, if I'm playing Galacta and Juggernaut and shit, although this does have a reasonable shot at taking out a Galacta, right? Turning Galacta into a significantly worse card does give you a lot of power against decks like Surfer. It doesn't seem great, however, overall, that matchup. It does, if the meta is ongoing, if the meta is discard, if the meta is any type of combo deck, this absolutely destroys them.
I will say,
yeah.
I will say, there is one deck that notably has ramp and 34 cards in it that would really love to be playing this deck.
Yeah. Arisham loves this shit, right? Like, Arisham's just like, oh, another tech card? Thank you. Can I have more tech cards, please? I think, honestly, this could even make it a 30-card deck. I hate to say it. Like, I could see this replacing Agamotto, because there's not a lot of space left to cut things. But, like, this is not, I don't think this is amazing. I think there's metas where this is stupid. Like, yeah, there's just metas where you really care about this effect. Like, let's say, what's the name of this stupid card? I can't think of his name. Oh my god. Coming out next week, Quentin Quire.
Nightmare.
Makes like Nimrod decks really good, right? Quentin Quire makes Nimrod decks really good. This is really good against those, because like then you play this and then the Nimrods blow up. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing is really useful. Or if Destroy is ever good again, right? Like, let's say Quentin makes Destroy good. You play this, like, even on turn 5, and they're like, I'm going to kill that Deadpool that was in my hand. So you have, like, you know what I mean? I'm going to kill that Deadpool. No, you're not. Thank you. That Deadpool is now dead. Yeah. Like, that's use. Getting rid of an X-23 at the end of the game. Like, all these things seem useful. Is this going to be amazing in every meta? No. Getting rid of a Mobius. Like, this wrecks the Bullseye deck. Like, holy shit, does it wreck the Bullseye deck. Like, is it going to be amazing and the best card in the game? No. I don't think so. But is it going to be good? Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to have its homes in certain meta. And, like, I'm happy to have that kind of card for certain metas.
Yep.
All right. We got, like, 4 more cards still. We've got Redshift. These are coming out in September, which means they might be the beginning of the month September cards. There is no way to know right now, but we're going to treat them as part of this because they are the same thing. Redshift is a Series 4 card. 2/3. On reveal, discard the leftmost card in your hand to add a random card with the same cost to your hand. Joe?
Pretty decent.
Wait, actually, let's just say this. Let's just say this immediately. This is for Agatha. Cool. All right, go on.
Yes, for Agatha. Yeah. It's I mean, targeted discard. You know that the discard players love targeted discard. Leftmost card instead of right. Yeah, you know, I mean, if you're playing Scorn, which a lot of them do, and if you get stuck with it on the, you know, where you can't discard it, that's always going to be good. And you're adding a random card with the same cost to your hand. I don't know. That could be weird. Especially in static lists like the discard ones, like you were saying, the Bullseye discard one. I don't know. It's got a pretty good stat line, 2/3, and targeted discard might just be good enough to end up in certain discard decks. Maybe the Khonshu ones more than the Bullseye stuff, where you're always looking to do do something as far as discarding is concerned. Trying to think, does it work in Hella? Again, targeted discard. Obviously, you could stay away from the Hella with it. I don't know. It's not bad. It looks like a Series 4 card. A lot of the stuff that you see when you might get this in a mini game or something like that. But it looks like looks like a Series 4 card, but it doesn't look like a bad one. Targeted anything that targets anything in discard will help discard players. So I don't think it's too bad, but it does look like Series 4.
I don't play much Discord, so like my opinion on this isn't exactly high, but I have spoke to people that one-trick specific Discord lists, and they both told me this is really broken. For Hella, apparently, well, I know why it's pretty broken in Hella. Hella, you don't mind discarding targeted discard, you add another card to hand, you can still Corvus, and that's less chances to hit your Hella, so you just become really ahead out of that. And then I also spoke to somebody who plays basically only Black Knight, and they're like, I just love a card that discards a card and works with Quinjet. I'm already doing that in Black Knight, and this is just like better Black Knight now. It's like an instant include. That's what both of them have told me. So my opinion on this is pretty high now, because the people that play a bunch of discard, like these weird discard lists, they're like, I love this card, I'm going to play it in my list, and it's never leaving. So I think it's a pretty good card.
So Danish and Tommy?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. like I'm pretty sure I know who we're talking about here. Nick?
As someone who plays discard semi-regularly, I am all for a targeted discard. We've all had situations to where a card that in our discard deck, we're like, I would be fine to get rid of that, but how do you get rid of that if you don't get the other targeted discard? I think this just provides another way of doing it. The question is, at what cost? Who comes out of your deck in order to be replaced with Redshift? But I think, especially if you are the White Wayne Brady and you are playing an Agatha deck, I think you'd be crazy not to include this one in there, because Agatha's also going to play it, and it's kind of nice seeing her like off herself when she plays Sif, or when she used to play Sif during those even turns, or when she would just play every card. This allows you to get rid of her. If you get rid of your Thanos, what happens if the card doesn't get discarded? Say you have Soulstone on board and he's in a Thanos Hella deck, like existed at one point.
Nothing.
Okay. So it's similar to like the Gambit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, still, if you have a way of getting your Thanos back later, I don't know, if you have your way of getting your Agatha back later, which generally you do, I think it's a great card.
Yeah, this feels insane to me. Like, Blade for the right, this for the left gives me a lot of optionality. Bullseye lists, if they exist, love this, right? Like, just the ability to get rid of a card on demand in this way is incredible. Sometimes Swarm ends up in the wrong spot and you really have a hard time, especially because you're running Scorn, right? This will move that Scorn out of the spot, and push it. Like, you play this and Blade, you're gonna do some really cool stuff. This seems really strong. Like, really strong. And, like, your opponent doesn't know what new card you get, which means it's going to have a lot of good stuff. I do think Discard could use some more support. I think Discard is good, but not great. And I'm pretty happy to see Discard get a cool release. My worry is that we can run this in Hellaless, and we might... not Hellaless. I'm not actually worried about Hellaless. We have a card that kills Hella now, right? So I don't give a fuck. Support Hella all you want. Like, if I must run that card... Like, if you really want to run Hella, if the meta becomes Hella, that other card just kills Hella. So I do think that, like, our classic discard really likes this, and I do think this might make Agatha good, which is a weird thing to say, but I could easily see this making Agatha good. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
Agatha with the Black Knight, as Hart mentioned, would be good. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get an extra 6, and you get 412, and then you get the on top of the 412, you get the other shenanigans. Yeah, it just seems like a really easy call. Like, you know what this feels like a little bit to me? This feels a little bit like Zorn. Like, obviously different archetypes, right? But the same kind of idea, where it's like, all right, and like this is better than Zorn because this is much more controlled. But this feels a little bit like Zorn or Topaz, where it's just like another tool for something that could really use another tool for it.
Also, the random card's pretty good. Like, even if you're not playing like these weird like Hella style list or like Black Knight, it's like, I get an extra 2 power when I Modok at the end of the game. That's fine.
And you draw a card, right? Like it's just a draw card. Right? Like it's I don't this in this matchup, I don't have time to play Kate Bishop. Oh look, it can be a Shadow King, right? And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's useless. But you played a 2/3 or you played a 2/3. Like that's
and the only
just
thing
really
that they'll
useful.
know is they're getting a card back that is the same cost. Unless you can see it, we don't know what the animation will be. But
very, very, very unlikely that you can see it.
There you go. Then it's that information disparity that we always talk about. That is huge.
I don't think this card is likely to be a problem. If it's a problem, I feel like it almost has to be Agatha, because Stardust comes out the month before, right? So like Stardust comes out the month before, and Stardust ruins Hella's entire life and way of being. And then the other card, Cosmic Ghostwriter, ruins Bullseye deck's entire way of being. And if there's these hard counters to discard that are like easy meta calls if discard gets too good, I'm fine with discard being sort of too good if you're not countering it, but you can choose to counter it.
Yeah.
Terrax is another Series 4. Terrax the Tamer is a 3/3. On reveal, for each location, shuffle a rock into the losing player's deck. So you can shuffle 3 rocks on turn 3 if you're winning all 3 locations, which seems not super easy.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
What do we think, Joe?
Oh man. Yeah, it's like you said, I mean, when I first saw it, obviously shuffle a rock into the deck. The first thing that comes to mind is a Darkhawk style deck. When they're getting all that extra junk in there. But yeah, again, 3 cost 3 power is not ideal. And then, like you mentioned too, the win condition to get all 3 is a little difficult. But I don't know. Anytime you junk up a player's hand, it is a pretty good thing. Most cases, you're stopping them from. That's the whole reason people play, Rock Slide and Korg is, you're stopping them from getting cards that they really want to get. So yeah, I don't know. Again, Series 4 card. I'd like it a little better if it was a 3/4, or even a 2/3. But yeah, I don't know. You could at least be winning 2. So you'd have something else that shuffles 2 rocks into a deck along with if you're playing a rock slide. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. I think in certain kind of decks it would work pretty well. And again, people still play Darkhawk, and if someone is playing that, does it fit in there? I think would be the question. But yeah, I don't think it's too bad. Like I said, anytime you junk up a player's deck, it's not a bad thing.
Art?
I will preface this whole thing by I think this card's pretty bad. It's asking a lot from you deck building wise. But I think its dream's not like terrible. I think just playing a 3/3 and Darkhawk's just in a very bad position right now. But like what you could do with this if you're considering it as like your turn 3 play is like playing this tempo style list, you get priority. Maybe you're already winning a location or 2, and then you have priority, so it doesn't matter. You can look at the board and be like, oh, if I put this guy exactly here, I win 3 locations. And now you have 3 rocks. It doesn't matter what you play on turn 3 because his effect has already went off, and you have your 2/3 rocks. However, like without priority, and if you're playing him later, he gets a lot worse. And just overall, he's asking you to do too much for a card that's ultimately been a bit power trapped in Darkhawk.
Yeah, I see a tough choice in choosing another card to remove to put him in for a lot of those decks. There's always the risk that your plans that you have set up don't turn out the way you want. Sure, you can target it and make sure you've got priority, but if you don't, and then he sits there, he is just a dead card potentially in your hand too, or detrimental to you and beneficial to your opponent because I don't know about anybody else's luck, but chances are I'm going to draw that rock exactly the next turn when I lose. But yeah, I don't know. This is a Series 4 card. Honestly, this sounds more like a Series 3 card, but this is kind of, I guess, where Series 4 cards should be.
Part of the cards snap. Do you remember a Silver Surfer priority list?
Yeah,
that ran Makari and Sam Wilson. Wouldn't this have been cool in that list?
I may have gotten this card nerfed. Yes, Makari and Sam have both got the priority package. This card probably would have used is no longer that great. So this card just really hates the Sam nerf, to be honest. Like, it would be smiling right now if it had that 1 point for the shields just to have like a bit of an edge. Then like a Makari too. And like now we're cooking with fire. Like, this card can just play into the third location half the time.
I can see a world where there's a way to make this good. If sometimes the meta doesn't start playing power until turn 3, right? If my opponent's dropping Zabu Surge, I feel like I should be able to win a couple locations. Sometimes the meta is doing a lot of really powerful stuff early, and people are dropping Hydra Bob and like whatever, Sam, right? Like, Sam makes this really hard to pull off because Sam's going to gain some extra power. So like, I can see worlds where this is both good and really bad. I don't know. I don't think I want to mess with it. Like, it's going to go in every Darkhawk deck. You're just going to have to rebuild Darkhawk decks to play it because the upside is so high in those decks, and if you lose, you just run, right? Like, you're like, all right, I played it, I lost, all right, bye. And you run for 1, but if you hit it, getting even +2, like 2 rocks on your Darkhawk and for 3 is still pretty good, and it's not like you don't also have Rock Slide and Korg there, and now your Cassandra Nova's got some real meat to her too. So, like, there's some value. I'm not in love with it, but I think it's got a little home. I think it's an okay card. Splat has the wonderful idea of losing locations on purpose and then running Khazar to have good rocks.
All right, Patriot deck. Patriot decks love this card.
yeah.
They just want, but then, so the fun part is then you never draw Patriot because you just drew 3 rocks.
Yeah.
Then you can play Mole Man and get even more
Mole
rocks.
Man,
Hey.
yes.
Rocks the deck. You kill your rock with Mole Man, and then you get no extra. Your extra rocks are still 1/0s.
Yes, you only play rocks in this deck. I like the idea.
All rock the deck, and then they release a card that says if all of your locations are filled with rocks, you win the game automatically.
Yeah.
And I guess the question is, with this card, what does this replace in the deck? Whatever deck that you're going to run it in, what do you take out to fit this in?
It only goes in Darkhawk, and in Darkhawk you have to rebuild the deck from scratch because Darkhawk is not a priority deck. So like, it goes in Darkhawk, but I don't know how.
It is sadly a core card in Darkhawk, despite being asking you a lot to do.
Yeah, you just have to take the chance in Darkhawk, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's an on reveal, so like, you don't have to be winning it at the end of the turn or anything, right? Like, you can choose to play this in a place where, like, if you play it on the location that's going to blow itself up, right? That blows up all the cards that are in turn 3, that your opponent just ignores. Like, there you go. There's some rocks.
Also, notably, it doesn't have to shuffle in 3 rocks. Let's say there's 2 locations, and you're like, okay, we both have 0 power here. It will only shuffle 2 rocks in if your opponent's losing these 2, and you just tie the 3rd.
Yeah. Look, it's got upside. Not amazing, just got some upside. All right. Enough of Terrax. Airwalker. I think there's one more after. No, is Airwalker the last card? I think Airwalker.
I think he is. Yeah.
Oh no. There's one after Airwalker because I put them in this order specifically.
Okay.
There is. I promise. Airwalker is a 3/4. So heart. It's got 3 on it in the first spot, so you can count that high. When this card is destroyed, replace it with a 4-cost card from your hand or deck. Destroy Surfer. What think we?
Destroy Double Surfer.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go first.
It says 3. You have to talk about it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Immediately, what comes to mind is you may know this card that just came out, Morgan Le Fay. You're really sad when you don't draw Morgan Le Fay. What if you destroyed a card that automatically gave you Morgan Le Fay? Not too bad. I think that's the idea I have. It's like like a consistency piece for a deck that just really wants that 1/4 drop. Right now, that's like Morgan Le Fay. Maybe it goes into like a Morgan Conchu deck or something. So you have 2 Morgans in deck, and like you're destroying stuff, bringing it back, and then putting down a Conchu. Probably not that bad. I don't know how viable that would be in 2 months from now, with all these new like destroy pieces and all that. But if it is a good card, it'll be because it's a 4 you really, really want, and you're happy to either pull it with this or just draw it. Either way, you're getting that on the board.
Joe?
Yeah, when I first saw this, I was trying to think of, but yeah, Morgan's a good call. I was just going through some of the other cards, thinking like, does it go with Fire Hair? Obviously in a destroyed deck, and then I was just trying to think of 4-cost cards for a complete destroyed deck, but I don't really see any kind of synergy or anything with that. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with Hart here. I think that's probably about the best use for it. Yeah, I don't know. 3/4 is pretty good. But yeah, I again, unless you're getting all the cards back and stuff like that, I don't really see a whole lot here that interests me. But then again, I'm not much of a destroy player, so and probably people that play that archetype can probably think a lot better on it than I can. But yeah, I don't know. I like his call on it. Whether it's good in much else other than that, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm sitting here as someone who plays Destroy or used to more often. It's like, number one, the one big thing Destroy does not have is 4 costs. Other than the Destroy decks that run Shang in them, there's very few 4 costs in Destroy. So this would be really cool if it can pull a Wiccan. It'd be really cool if it can pull, a Shang at the right time. But how do you make that happen? How do you build that deck around it? I think it's going to have to see what the meta looks like at the time when this comes out. But I do think, like Hart said, I think there's going to be a new Destroy deck. We'll have, I believe, Kid Omega by that point. Kid Omega's coming out soon. We're going to have a lot more Destroy targeted cards. Dormammu will be out.
Yeah,
there you go. Maybe this is a Dormammu card that is just a good Destroy because you're adding 4 power. And you're replacing it with a 4 cost from your hand or your deck. Actually, I think that's exactly where this needs to go, is a Dormammu Wiccan deck. Because how nice would that be to have that Wiccan hit the board? Yes, you're going to risk possibly pulling out Shang, but whenever you play Surge, you're risking, a card that you don't want to play getting hit by Surge. So,
I don't know. I find it hard to imagine that a tutor is going to be bad. Like, you're not required to destroy it. 3/4 is an acceptable stat line. And the idea of getting a Wiccan, a Galacta, a Shang, a Misery, right? Like, Misery decks often run a little extra destroy stuff. And I think that, straight up, I think Kid Omega is just going to go in a lot of decks. I'm very happy to run this with, like, a Symbiote Spider-Man if I'm running Kid Omega in a Nimrod deck. Or, with that previously mentioned stupid 5-power card, the Fallen one, where it's just like, oh, cool, look. I just suddenly, in this location, also have a Symbiote Spider-Man. In this location, also have a Shuri, a Galacta, whatever, that I wanted to get for this deck. And now, like, I've thinned my deck and done that thing. Seems like a really, really powerful place to be for a lot of decks. I think this is very likely to be very good. It's going to be totally slept on, but I think it's very likely to be very good. I think Kid Omega changes our math on a lot of cards like this. And Dormammu is a really good shot. I didn't think of that, but that's a really good shot.
Even without Kid Omega, I think this would be like really good right now. Not really good, but like much better in like the Morgan Le Fay decks. Because like Morgan Le Fay is dying for this. Because they're like all in on Morgan Le Fay, and when you don't draw her, you're depressed, but you're not really running like too many 4s.
So the thing is, this you have to destroy before you destroy this, right? Because Morgan will put it into play.
Yeah, it's the second Morgan, basically. Yeah. You're treating it as.
Yeah. Oh, not bad. I like it. I like this card a lot. The card that they're sort of seeding with it is Firelord, which is the last card we're going to talk about. I think Firelord, I'm going to spoil. I'm gonna not bury the lead here. I think Firelord is absolutely terrible. Firelord is also coming out the same day. It's a 4/6 unreveal. Revive one of your discarded or destroyed 3-cost cards here. Maybe someone got something for me for this, because there's got to be something I'm missing. Because I should like this, and I got nothing. Joe?
Two archetypes I very seldom ever play, but yeah, I can't think of much either, especially 3 cost. I mean, destroy is what? Deathlock? I mean, I can't.
Or Venom. If you destroy your Venom.
Most of the time, people aren't going to just. Well, I mean, a lot of times they'll Zola Venom, but very late in the game. And then discard 3 cost. There's not too many 3 costs that you don't want on the board. So yeah, I don't know. This one's tough, and especially at a 4/6. Great character too. I remember him from HeroClix, man. Whenever I think of Firelord, I think of playing HeroClix.
Yeah, because he was the best card in the game for a while. So yes.
But yeah, I'm with you. I can't think of much. But then again, I'm no expert on either one of those archetypes. I very seldom ever play either one. But yeah, I'll obviously defer and to some of the people who play them better or play more. But yeah, I can't think of much on this.
Oh, I just came up with a thought. We'll come back to it later. Art?
It seems like terrible. It's like we have like Elixir. It's like, sure, it's not targeting exactly a 3 cost, but I don't know if we want to target exactly a 3 cost specifically, and no other targets are like good enough. Elixir costs way less. Phoenix Force does just way cooler stuff, and it's like similar cost, but you can do a lot more creative and like interesting synergies with Phoenix Force, where this feels like Elixir, but more expensive, but you can do it on the same turn if you manage somehow to magically get enough energy. And you can target the 3 cost, which I don't know if you want to target a 3 cost. Reasonably, I don't see in my mind like what 3 cost is like the nuts, unless you're like, I'm only targeting Cassandra Nova, I guess. And it's an Aerosham meta.
Cassandra and Sage. Like that's where my head went. Cassandra and Sage, you go Firehair, Cassandra or Sage, you destroy it, right? And now this is basically second Elixir for that deck. It's not terrible.
So I'm trying. No, it's not. I think it has to. If you're going to do it, it has to be an all-in kind of situation. My first thought was, okay, I could bring back Dokken and I could Grandmaster. I could pay this and Grandmaster on the last turn, but with my luck, it would pull Firelord and I wouldn't get the double proc on Dokken. But outside of that, this seems very niche. But again, if you notice, most of these super niche cards are the ones that they're leasing directly to Series 4. So they're the kind of cards that it's like, well, we don't know if this is going to be super strong. Like maybe it could be really strong, but this just seems very limited in what it does. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing the vision. I'm sure there's going to be something.
So the idea here, I think, would be the Elixir, the Jet deck, the Elixir version of the Jet deck, where you're going to go, I'm going to like run Phoenix Force, I'm going to run this, and I'm going to run Elixir, right? And you're trying to blow up Cassandra and Sage, and then we really need one more 3 that we'd like to blow up. We play Cassandra, then we play Sage in the same lane. We eat them with Venom or play Misery. And then the last turn of the game is either Firelord and Elixir or Phoenix Force and Elixir. And I think that's got a reasonable shot to win. I think we need another 3 that can win a lane.
That's not the worst thing to be doing, but I don't know.
You could, if you go Kid Omega into whatever, Cassandra or Sage, right? And you don't trigger Kid Omega yet. Then you play you Venom that and use Kid Omega to blow up the Venom. Getting back an extra Venom could be really powerful too.
Yeah.
Like, so there's stuff like that.
But I think it has to. You have to be prepared with something like a Venom, and it has to be in a Phoenix Force style deck in order for it to really work, I think.
They made the fiery guy. Fire hair goes with Fire Lord goes with Phoenix Force is a pretty cool stupid thing that they did. What does stupid Ray do? No, there's no 6s in that deck, right? The one that the 3/4.
No.
Yeah, because that's another fiery card.
Yeah.
They're releasing a lot of fiery cards recently.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think this is going to be cool. I don't think it's going to be great, but I think it'll be cool.
But isn't that what we want some cards to be? They don't need to be broken. They don't need to be horrendously expensive. They can just be cool, but not crazy.
I just want Jet to be happy. Jet's so sweet.
It's a great point. I think that
agreed.
I think that more cards overall, and I know there's been a little bit of a debate about it, where people are saying no more, all these extra cards is bad and stuff like that. I don't know. I kind of like it because what I'm seeing anyway in my little neck of the woods is people are making different decks, and I think the more cards you get, the more little bit of differences you're going to see. Sure, you'll all, when Thanos was around, everybody kind of plays Thanos and stuff like that, and you're always going to see a lot of people net decking. But I think just getting the extra Series 4 cards, and you mentioned Safety Blade before, just seeing like what they could do. He built an amazing Galactus deck that I had a blast with out of all those new cards that we got that were Series 4 cards. So I don't know. I just think it makes the game a little more fun and maybe just a little more unexpected. You don't necessarily, maybe not seeing a lot of people playing with a lot of these cards, but I overall, I just think it makes it better to get more cards that people can try to build around.
So the thing I'd like to see them do is like build a schedule in so that people have something to get excited about each week. Doing it at the start of the season when everyone's already excited about the game seems like overkill, because that's when everyone's going to be playing anyway, right? So start of the season, you get 2 new cards. If they like week 2, every week 2, you would get the 4 new Series 4 cards plus the regular card. And then the week 3 of the season was always limited game mode. And then week 4 of the season is Conquest, Infinite Conquest. Like now we have like, you know what I mean? Like a pattern, a cadence to it where like, because let me just tell you, as a content creator, a lot more people give a shit about Marvel Snap week 1 of the season than they do in the last week of the season. And it ain't real close. Unless there's like a really cool limited time game mode, people by the end of the season have either hit Infinite or given up, right? And like, it's not a lot to grind for most of the players. There's not a lot to do at the end game for most players. So like, spreading them out would be a really, really beneficial idea. And I should probably say that to someone at Second Dinner at some point. So I'll do that too.
I just really enjoy the new cards. I feel like a lot of these cards are like starting to fill like holes in the game with like we didn't really have a direct move counter. They added that. Hellion's just an interesting card. Hail is like we didn't have any real way to like ramp out of 5 except for Luna Snow. And then we got that, and like now there's interesting decks. And it's feeling like they're not the biggest holes, meaning like they're not, you will activate Psylocke not to break the meta. But I think like it's interesting enough to like start filling these holes where new decks will eventually pop up using these tools because they're doing something unique and just enough to maybe like make an idea work when it otherwise couldn't.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't disagree in any way. All right. I just got an email from the new potential job thing, so let's continue along. Sorry about the looking down for that last section. I was like, and then like, because it's a thread of like 30 emails, like I'm not even sure what I'm looking at anymore. So like, all right, our variant of the week is Cannonball because Cannonball is the meta right now.
Yes, he is.
Thanks to the card that has no variant, so we can't do it for variant of the week. All right, someone picked the I'm not invulnerable while I'm blasting. I have no bottom half Cannonball. Who did that?
Oh, that's me. Well, you didn't tell me. I think it was me, unless someone else also picked it. Okay, yes. I chose that one because, listen, I'm going to be honest. Cannonball doesn't have a lot of great variants. He has some okay variants. I like the other two pretty decently well. But this is the only good Spotlight variant in my mind, because that other Spotlight that released, I'm not a fan. I know it's a different art style, and maybe that's just me, but if I'm going to choose a Cannonball, it's either going to be any of these I think are really good. But I don't know. There's something I like about it. I think because I don't ever see anyone running this Cannonball variant. It's always one of the other ones. So it's my flex, just like with the same how I feel about the Hydrobob first Spotlight variant that I have.
Both, I believe Joe and I picked the Chris Bacalo. Bacalo? How do you say his name? Bacalo, right? Bacalo.
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. I said 18 different things. Joe's like, yeah,
One of those.
You got to be right one time.
Oh my God, pronouncing some of the artist names is I butcher them constantly. Probably that's Cannonball Noir. I love this one from the start when I first got it, and I still use it. I like any of the cards that has background stuff going on. That when you split them and stuff like that, you can kind of see things going on in the back, I love this one. I wish they would do more shadowy effect kind of cards like that. The artwork is stellar. I really, really love it. Yeah, that's my favorite one, no doubt.
I picked this one because I really like Chris Bachalo's art. As I learned, I've never said that name out loud despite knowing who he is for 30 years. I think that his art is great, and I really like this one. It feels a lot like the character. I do wish it was a little brighter. I don't mind that it's dark, right? But I do wish it was a little brighter. Because there's the clear dark half. I wish the lighter half was a bit lighter to really bring out the contrast. But I do think it's the best one. Although I like the one Hart chose a lot. I just don't like the coloring. I don't know when the fuck Cannonball wore orange. Hart, tell us about it.
I'm a very simple man. I like pretty colors. I saw pretty colors, so I like the variant. Not much else. I just, I looked at the variant. I'm like, this one's colorful. I like this one. Not much else thought to it.
Awesome. Please remember to follow Snap Decisions. Joe, why?
Well, I love First of all, I love the game, and I love the game maybe for different reasons than a lot of people do. I have read Marvel Comics since I was a very young man, when I was 5 or 6 years old in the 70s. That shows my age, but hey, I'm old. And I just, I absolutely love talking about it because I enjoy playing. I am very honest and very upfront, sometimes brutally so. If I see something I don't like, I'm certainly going to let you know. If I see something I do like, I'm going to let you know that too. Look, my show is fun. I have fun doing it. It lets me relive my DJ days from way back in college. I also love talking to people, and that's why I'm getting back to that too. I think that's one of the things that I really did that was very unique. I got to meet so many cool people, including all of the present. And Hart's got to be on my show next because I haven't had Hart on there yet.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I just really enjoy the game, and I hope it comes off that way. And I think it's just a little bit different from a lot of the other podcasts that are out there, and also teach a little bit about where these characters came from, where a lot of people just don't know. I had to talk about the Ancient One this week, and I hearken back to a lot of the samurai movies that my father used to watch. When you saw the Ancient One in books back in the day with the long white beard and stuff like that. So quite different from what you see today. So yeah, so there you go. That's mine.
Nick, are you going to cut me off, or am I going?
I'm going to cut you off a little bit. I will let you speak your mind, but I know you've spoken a lot about Joe. But
I got things to say. It just I just didn't want to start talking and immediately get nicked. So I figured just go for it.
Well, what I will say is, having worked with Joe for a short period of time until life just got too crazy on Two Dudes Snapping, a little podcast that we had done up, he was one of the most kind, welcoming, patient, flexible, knowledgeable people, and excited about that knowledge. Like, when you talk to Joe, as you can see from this podcast, or you listen to any of the stuff that he does, there is a clear drive and love that he has for comics. And I don't think there's any better person to put out a Marvel Snap podcast to fill in those gaps on that knowledge, which most people don't know. I mean, how many people knew that Mercury is not Quicksilver, because I can tell you right now, AI doesn't. AI has no idea. I was trying to figure out something with a title and it just no idea. And there's not a ton of information on it. And if you want to get that history of where those cards are coming from, if you want to get someone who is knowledgeable, passionate about it, who probably should own his own comic book store at this point,
dream job.
Joe is your guy. Yeah. But Joe's a phenomenal human being. He's one of the nicest people I've met. And just you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't go follow the podcast.
So great. I have nothing left to say. Thank you, Nick. But so here's what I want to say. There's a lot of metagame focused podcasts, a lot of heavy focus on like what exactly to do in Marvel Snap. If you love the game and want positivity, if you love Marvel comics and Marvel ideas, then the Snap Decisions podcast is absolutely where you want to be. I don't listen to as many podcasts about Marvel Snap as I used to, because I listen to podcasts in the car, and everything I do at home that's not with my son is Marvel Snap related. When I want to listen to a Marvel Snap podcast, it's very often the Infinite podcast or Snap Decisions podcast, because they take an approach that lets me engage with it in a way that that really helps when I feel burned out, and it's really positive. So if you're really into the nitty gritty and you just want to relax and have a really good time, check out Snap Decisions, please.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hardy?
Why you should watch me? I'm very good at counting to the number 3. Actually, I don't know. I think I'm pretty good at like explaining why I make decisions, whether it's I'm learning a new deck, and like how I'm basically like my process to like figure out basically like it's okay if you lose, but it like my process to figure out why I lost and then trying to iterate on that. And a lot of the times I feel like, especially when I'm not pumping like this season and I'm actually playing my main deck, I'm very good at explaining the logic of the deck. So if you want to improve and you're focused on like learning about the game, I think I am a good avenue to learn about whatever deck I happen to be playing at the time. Probably Silver Surfer, but this season it has notably not been Silver Surfer, but like I don't know, we get new Surfer cards, I might just play for another 2 months of Surfer. So probably Surfer, but I dabble in other decks.
Cool. Can I jump in quickly before you get on? Because I think it's only fair and I think it's deserved. Hart, I know you and I haven't spent a ton of time together, but you've been in every chat. I've seen your streams. For a top level player, you are very good at describing to anyone who comes to your streams what's going on. And you're so welcoming and willing to take input from your audience. But, you are, I guess in some ways you are the Peef of Silver Surfer, but you're more than that because you do branch out a little bit more. But it's been very nice getting to know you, and I'm just glad you're part of the community. I think you're a fantastic addition, and I'm glad to be seeing you more frequently in a lot of different places. Now I will shut up and let Glazer do his thing.
Yeah. If you want top-line meta thoughts, top-line analysis, exact why plays are made, then you follow Hart. If you want to get better at very specific decks, if you want to know thought processes of how to do that follow Hart. Like, it's really, really great content. It's very straightforward and it's very impactful. If you're like the kind of person who's either trying to climb high in Infinite or trying to hit Infinite and you're struggling, that's the content for you. Go watch Heart of the Cards. I think you'll really enjoy it and you'll improve. And that's kind of the goal. Hopefully you're seeking to improve in the game. Go watch Heart of the Cards. There's very few people in the world as good and successful as he is at Marvel Snap. In the Crown tournament, which happened recently, he was in the top 8?
I finished top 8.
Yeah, he was in the top 4, I believe. No, top 8 again of the recent Snap Judgments League.
Sadly, I lost by 1 cube on Hella.
I know. I got an immediate DM from one of my followers.
I'm very sad.
Yeah, that is rough. And well, when that new card comes out, you won't have to worry about Hella anymore. He's finished.
I was playing Hella.
Oh, you were well. Then you deserve to lose. All right. So he also finished in the apparently he really likes the number 8 because he also finished at exactly rank 8 on the Infinite leaderboard twice. So yeah, this is a top line player.
Number. My unlucky number. I can't get above it.
Fair enough. Make sure you're following twitch.tv/Heart of the Card Snap, please. All right. Also, please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments if you're interested in supporting this channel and show a little bit more. I'm going to read a whole bunch of names as fast as I can. This is a top line Patreon perk. Thank you to Bricks2Click, Application Manager, Bernard Irregulus, LED Ink, I'm Frostman, Hota, Navidate, Think Poker God, Hota, Navidate, Prime Brian, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Snap, Ryan Range, Caretaker Lee, Quarry, Kazushi, or Angel through Cape, Black Dot, Profos, The Goat, Secret Code, Hallowed, Only Fox, Synth, Fat Nick, Absolute Shannon, Nightmare, Dirty Cancel, Mr. Rumble, Cable, Ginger Prime, Philip Rackwood, Chapel, Penny Lars, The Angel, The Biz, Black TV, 23 Extra, Skippy G, Jessica Gamble, Slush Shot, The King of Bros, Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Pepsi, Glam, Colonel Foreman, Ralph Simon, David G. Wingfield, Stephen Brown, Coffin, Trich, H. Martin, Jason Meek, Mr. Craig Matt V, Corey, Corbin, John Q, Jimmy Q, Yes Not, AC, One Big Bad, Bill for Reals, Character Shack, Reeps, BG, Yo, Marco, Quid Pro Joe, Snap Justice Joe, Hi Joe, Dick Carlo, Models Metro Supreme, Pickety Boombot, Green Goblin, Unibot, Flan 56. I believe Boombot is who actually beat Hart, by the way. Unibot, Flan 56, The Fuzzy Lot, Spectrum X, Hoot, Akilar, Matt H, DJ Mechanics, No Flex, Nick the Greek Geek, Hi Nick, Toxic Soul King, Zodrix, the King of Canada, JJ, 10 Man Falcon, Falco Newman, Jonesy, Snap, Two Ties, the Great Artist, the Pride King Tucker, and of course, Kenny T, where the T stands for Toodles. Podcast over. Peace and love, everybody. Oh, actually, one more thought. Happy Pride, everybody. If that made you mad, stop listening. Bye.